All right, get ready to dive deep into AI agents. We're going to figure out how they work, what they mean for the future. And luckily, we've got Shailendra Kumar as our guide.
He really is an expert.
We've got a stack of his blogs, YouTube videos, and even some pieces of his book, Making Money Out of Data.
It's a ton of info. And what I find so interesting is that he doesn't just use all the AI jargon. He explains this complicated topic in a way anyone can understand.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Like, what exactly are AI agents? I feel like everyone's talking about them now.
Well, think of them as like your super personal assistant, but, way more powerful. Shailendra calls them supercharged digital assistants. They're not just, responding to commands passively. AI agents actually learn and adapt, and they make decisions and take action on their own.
So it's not just like scheduling meetings and sending emails. They're actually making choices and doing things independently.
Exactly. And that's a huge change from the old automation tools, which, yeah, they're good at routine tasks, but they can't really handle anything new. AI agents, on the other hand, they're built to deal with the unexpected. Like, they learn from experience and even come up with creative solutions.
So that's where it gets really interesting for me. Like, how do they actually learn? Is it like training a dog, but with code?
It's more like giving them tools and letting them explore a huge library full of data. That's where the whole machine learning thing comes in. They sort through tons of info, find patterns, and then use those patterns to make decisions.
So the more data they get, the smarter they become. It's kind of amazing, but also a little scary.
It is, yeah. And that's why Shailendra talks about responsible AI development in his book. He says, as AI agents get more advanced, we have to be really careful about what data they learn from and what goals we set for them.
Makes sense. Now, he also says that AI agents are like revolutionizing all these different industries. What does he mean by that?
Well, he thinks AI agents are changing how businesses work at their core. He even has this quote, agentic AI doesn't just reform, it innovates the core fabric of business strategy.
Wow. Okay. So it's not just about making things a little faster or better. It's like totally changing how things are done, right?
Right. Like, they can analyze tons of data, spot trends, and make predictions that we just can't. And since they can work 24/7, they're already changing fields like healthcare, finance, and retail.
Can you give an example of what that actually looks like? I'm kind of having trouble picturing it.
Sure. In one of his YouTube videos, Shailendra gives this example of AI agents that manage retail inventory. So imagine an agent that watches stock levels all the time, figures out when demand might change, and then automatically orders more stuff so you never run out of the popular items.
Okay, now that's efficient. So we've got like the basic idea of what AI agents are and how they learn. But there's still one thing I don't get. How are they structured? What's going on inside?
That's where AI agent architecture comes in. It's like the blueprint for how they work.
All right, let's see what's under the hood. Tell me everything.
Okay, so Shailendra says AI agent architecture has a few main parts: perception, planning, memory, learning, and action.
That sounds kind of like how people work. We see what's around us, plan what to do, and then do it.
Yeah, exactly. And just like us, AI agents have to perceive their environment.
Okay.
And they do this by getting data from all kinds of places, like sensors or customer reviews. It's like their way of seeing the world.
So they're always taking in info and getting a picture of what's around them.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to all that data then?
That's where planning comes in. They use that data to figure out what to do.
Right.
Think about their goals, any limits, and then come up with a plan. It's like strategic thinking, but for machines.
I see. But what about memory? How does that fit into AI agents?
Oh, memory is super important for them to learn and adapt. They store all their experiences, the good and the bad, in their memory. And that helps them make better decisions later.
So they're not just following some pre-programmed rules.
Yeah.
They remember what worked and what didn't and use that to get better.
Yeah, exactly. And that ability to learn is what makes them different. They're not just static. They're always evolving and getting better.
So it sounds like Shailendra's saying they're almost like independent. Does he talk about how much control we actually have over these agents?
He does. And he says that as they get smarter, we need ways to make sure they stay within certain limits. He calls them governance platforms, which are kind of like guardrails, to make sure the agents stick to our goals and values.
Oh, that makes sense. It's like setting boundaries for a kid. You want them to explore, but also make good choices.
Perfect analogy. It's about finding that balance between letting them be independent and making sure they're doing the right thing.
This architecture stuff is really interesting, but I want to hear more about how Shailendra sees AI agents changing different industries.
Oh, he has tons to say about that. One of his big points is that they're not just about automating tasks, it's about creating totally new ways of doing business.
Okay, that sounds big. Can you give an example?
Sure. He talks about how AI agents could revolutionize healthcare. Imagine an AI agent that can look at medical images like X-rays or MRIs and spot diseases early on, even better than human doctors. And that's already happening.
Wow, that's amazing. Catching things early is so important. It's like having a doctor who never gets tired and has superpowers working all the time to keep us healthy.
Yeah, exactly. And he even talks about AI agents that can create personalized treatment plans based on your genes and how you live. That would make healthcare way more effective.
Okay, so healthcare. What other industries are being changed by this AI revolution?
He also talks about finance. Like, imagine an AI agent that analyzes market trends, figures out risks, and manages your investments to make you the most money.
It's like having a personal financial advisor who's always working and making smart decisions.
Right. And because they can handle so much data, they might see patterns and opportunities that humans miss. That could mean better financial results for everyone.
This is all super exciting, but I can also see how some people might be a little worried. Are there any downsides to this AI revolution that Shailendra talks about?
He definitely brings up some concerns. One big one is jobs. As AI agents get better, there's a worry that they might replace people's jobs.
Yeah, that's a real concern. Automation has always changed the workforce, and it's understandable that people are worried about their jobs. Does Shailendra have any ideas for dealing with that?
He does. He says it's important for people to learn new skills and adapt. He thinks the key to succeeding in this AI world is to develop skills that work with AI, not compete with it.
So instead of seeing AI as a threat, we should see it as a chance to grow and create new jobs that combine what humans and AI are good at.
Exactly. He thinks if we focus on creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence, we can build a workforce that can work alongside AI and do even more amazing things.
So we've talked about the potential of AI agents in healthcare and finance and the challenges for jobs. But what about everyday people? How will AI agents affect our lives?
Well, Shailendra thinks they're already making our digital experiences more personal. Think about those recommendations you get on streaming services or shopping websites.
Right.
Those are powered by AI agents that are learning about you and suggesting things you might like.
So it's like having a personal shopper who knows your taste and finds things just for you.
Exactly. And as they get even smarter, they'll personalize even more of our lives, like the news we read or the routes we take to work.
It's like having a digital twin who's always working behind the scenes to make our lives easier.
He even says in his book, in the age of data, your digital twin will be your most valuable asset.
Wow, that's powerful. It shows how AI agents aren't just about technology, but about how technology changes our relationship with the digital world. But before we get too deep into that, I want to go back to something you said earlier. You mentioned that AI agents can even help us make money.
Oh, yeah. That's a key part of his book, Making Money Out of Data. He thinks AI agents can help businesses find new ways to make money and improve their operations to boost profits.
Okay, I'm listening.
He gives some examples like using AI agents for personalized marketing, predicting when customers might leave, and even developing new products based on what people want.
So it's not just about saving money, it's about using AI to create value and new ways of doing business.
Exactly. And this is where Shailendra's knowledge about making money from data really shows. He provides a framework for businesses to use AI agents to find hidden value in their data.
It's like turning data into gold. This is really cool, but I bet it can be a lot for someone just starting to learn about AI agents. Does Shailendra have any advice for people who are feeling a bit lost?
He says the best way to embrace this AI stuff is to just start learning about it. He tells people to check out his blogs on Medium, watch his YouTube videos on AI guru Shailendra Kumar, and read his book, Making Money Out of Data.
So it seems like he really wants everyone to learn about AI and make it accessible.
He really does. He believes that the more we understand AI, the better we can use it for good.
This has been a really eye-opening look at AI agents. We talked about the technical parts, how they could impact different industries, and even our daily lives.
And this is just the beginning. There's so much more to explore as this field keeps changing.
But before we finish, I want to leave our listeners with one last thought. We've talked about all the amazing things AI agents can do, but are there any downsides, like any risks that Shailendra talks about that we should watch out for?
Oh yeah, he's not pretending everything's perfect. He's definitely excited about AI, but he also says there are some potential problems that we got to address. One of the big ones is bias.
Where I've heard about that, like AI systems can end up with the same biases as the people who create them or the data they learn from. So does Shailendra have any solutions for that?
He does. He really emphasizes building AI systems that are fair, transparent, and accountable. He says we need to be super careful about the data we use to train these systems, make sure it represents a diverse range of viewpoints.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's also about the human decisions involved in designing and using it.
Exactly. He thinks we need to create a culture of responsible AI development where ethics is part of every step.
That makes sense. It's like when you're building a house, you don't just focus on how it looks or works, you also make sure the foundation is strong and the structure is safe.
Right. And he also talks about the need for constant monitoring and evaluation. Even if an AI system starts out good, there's always a chance it could develop unintended biases over time.
So it's not just a set it and forget it thing. We need to constantly watch and make adjustments to ensure these systems are operating ethically and responsibly.
You know, he uses a great analogy in one of his blogs. He compares developing AI to raising a child. You nurture them, guide them, and correct them when they go wrong. It's all about continuous learning and adapting.
I like that. It really shows the responsibility we have as the ones creating and managing these powerful technologies.
And he reminds us that it's not just the tech companies or developers who are responsible. Policymakers, researchers, and everyday people, we all have a part to play.
It's a conversation we all need to be a part of, not just the experts.
Exactly. And Shailendra's work is a great place to start. He offers so many insights and practical advice for anyone who wants to understand AI better.
So if our listeners want to learn more about Shailendra Kumar's work, where can they find him?
Well, he has an awesome YouTube channel called AI Guru Shailendra Kumar. He makes these complex AI ideas really easy to understand, and he also writes really interesting articles on his Medium blog.
And of course, we can't forget his Amazon best-selling book, Making Money Out of Data. It sounds like something everyone should read if they want to understand how AI is changing the business world.
It's definitely worth checking out. He lays out exactly how businesses can use AI agents to find new opportunities and create value.
So to wrap up our deep dive into the world of AI agents, we'll leave you with this. AI isn't just technology, it's a force that's changing our world in huge ways. And we all need to understand its potential, its risks, and what it means for us.
And remember, the future of AI isn't set in stone. We all shape it with the choices we make. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.